Alright. Start some E.V.O. Endurance up to 56. Now we can travel down there, if we understand correctly. Your species continue to breed and multiply, shrinking in size. For many generations you live quietly without conflict in the dark depths of the ocean floor. Oh. Without any major evolutions. Clunk clunk, one day your descendants were surprised by a new sound. The humongous, bizarrely shaped yellow fish that was the source of the sound slowly approached and began to shine a light on them. But it didn't seem like a predator. Strangely, a voice could be heard coming from within. Captain, there are fish living even in the depths near the ocean floor. We evolved too good in one field, so we couldn't continue. Yes. We evolved further. Oh no. You reproduced well but shrunk early on in the evolution process, eventually unable to make individual decisions and only acting as a group. But as you were losing your individuality and forming a group consciousness, you found yourself pressured by other forces and eventually disappearing. Maybe what you really needed was vitality and wisdom to live a life without relying on others. Okay. Okay, game. We hear ya. Vitality and wisdom, we got it. How pitiful. Oh god, they turn into gel. You see a fountain with a weirdly shaped black rock that's practically invisible in the water. There are living things squirming around the fountain that you can't quite see. You feel a strange harshness in your heart the longer you look at it. You're standing just before the fountain. Drink the fountain's water? Let's drink. Let's see what happens if we drink. It's probably a bad ending, but we have saved. Not bad at all, with a full-bodied flavor. You receive 114 E.V.O genes. Drink the fountain's water? Drink. There's a weird aftertaste on your tongue. It's odd. 57 points E.V.O genes. Drink the fountain's water? Drink. Pain racks your body. You feel the urge to vomit. 28 E.V.O genes. Drink the fountain's water? Drink. Your body begins to melt. You receive 14 points of E.V.O genes. Drink the fountain's water? Drink. Your vision fades to black. You evolve into a strange shape due to the contents of the fountain's water. You evolved further. Several million years had passed. Living on the surface where you're exposed to the strong rays of the sun is nothing but pain for you now that you've no flesh and are nothing but dripping slime. Underground, you and your few brethren were forced beneath the surface where the sun rays couldn't reach you. A world filled with dark, cold and silence was the only place left for you to live in peace. The border between genders had vanished long ago, but the only way to secure the survival of your species was through cell division with like ancient protists. Screenshotting that. Your species absorbed nutrients from insects and small animals, moss and algae, keeping you from starving and allowing you to survive. Many changes took place on the surface, with many species come and gone, but wrapped in the everlasting darkness of the underground lifestyle there were no changes, and as such no real evolution either. Among the creatures from the surface that occasionally found themselves in your world, the smartest among them took to calling you by this name. Slime. So that's one of the endings. This game has like 47 endings or something. We love that. We that's exactly what we were hoping for. We did not look up this ahead of time. That's exactly what we were hoping was gonna happen. We were like, this game is from 1990. Is that too early for a game to do like some meta commentary on JRPG tropes? You soon noticed a shimmering being that had appeared before you. It was a being that walked on 2 legs and had 7 glittering wings. Hear me, child of the earth. I am the creator of this planet and the universe, Lucifer. I've been watching you and all the others from the heavens, and I have chosen you. What say you? Will you do my bidding? Refuse is the right option. We want to see the bad ending though. She grinned as you gave your reply. Your senses began to fade. You heard a voice calling to you from somewhere. The contract is sealed. Oh, ho, 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 ho. You found yourself in pitch darkness. Fool, you will live the rest of your life as my slave in this darkness. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Your evolution has come to an end. Aw, no fun game over screen. Oh no, what? Okay, that's mean. You continue to obtain more and more power. You evolve beyond the mere worm, or wyvern as it's sometimes called, with no hind legs, and taking on a completely different form. I bet you figured it out already. That's right, you've evolved into a creature that would later come to be called a dragon. There are, however, many different species of dragon. There's red dragons who breathe fire and are destined to be killed by heroes, and also blue dragons like the one tempted by the devil who met a sad fate. White dragons like the ones who let a boy ride with him in the never-ending story. Okay. Gold, black, and many others. Now, as for you, you become a strange dragon who obtained wisdom because you really wanted to talk to someone, anyone. The forest was your home, and you bestowed your knowledge upon any humans who might stumble upon it. Human sages, as they were called, sought you out for your vast knowledge, and they called you Green Dragon. We specifically swapped what we used to evolve there so that wouldn't happen. And it still happened. Okay, we want to find out what happens if we go even further into Goblin. You've evolved further. You managed to obtain the wisdom and vitality necessary to survive along the exacting evolutionary path. But a new monster known as Man has begun to establish their supremacy, and all of your abilities were completely useless against them. Most don't believe that your kind is actually a real species now that you've taken to hiding quietly and living in places where human eyes don't reach. After the occasional perplexing innocent prank on humankind, they came to call you Goblins. Now this is your final evolution. Turok evolution. No. I don't even know why we did that. Attack! You've evolved further. Time passed, and the surrounding scenery changed. But for you and your species, who strayed from the main flow of evolution, nothing changed. Hunting for food using simple tools, wandering from place to place, wrapped in crude garments. A primitive life deep within the mountains spanning many generations was the only way left for you to continue living. After several hundred generations, the ever-evolving mankind started to build an advanced civilization. The human villagers would sometimes catch a glimpse of your tribe. They had a name for you. Savages. Barbarians. We got a bad ending! We get it. Endurance. Okay. Your species no longer had the spare energy to evolve. You ended up forced from your ancestral homelands, driven out by more ferocious species. The sunless underground world would be your new home. It was the only remaining safe place for you. Men, the new rulers of the surface, might have once envied the items your kind made using the vitality you were blessed with and your average wisdom. But the culture of men would grow beyond your comprehension. That was when your species would disappear from the evolutionary history. You were a relic of an old age, doomed to live on only in myths and stories. Dwarf? No! No! No, E.V.O! No! No, you can't make a story about evolution of the human species and treat dwarfism like some offshoot of the evolutionary line. No! That's so not okay, game. That is so not okay. It was 1990, yes, but come on. What's been our favorite stat this entire game? You're damn right, it's vitality. You've evolved further. Time wavers within the eternal turning of the wheel. Planets and stars change slowly now. You who have attained fire and mastered the world enjoy the prosperity unlike any creature has ever enjoyed before. There's nothing on land, sea, or even in the sky to threaten your existence. Your savage past, no one remembered your simple and primitive past anymore. And yet, as evening approached, the smog-filled skies of the megalopolis, you felt you'd forgotten something. Is this really it? Was evolving into Homo sapiens really the right choice for man? There were none who could give you an answer. Other people walking down the road looked back at you suspiciously due to your sudden stop before they hurried on their way. The world was so hectic now, with the present washed away by monsters called economy and politics. Have you already forgotten the warm seas in Earth's infancy, the lush primeval forests growing thick with ferns? All great beings crumbled away, vanishing into distant history and oblivion, but a time will come where you and all the rest of us will face our end. 4.6 billion years of history on Earth, with mankind having stood at the pinnacle. If you could do it all over again from the start, you'd drive the thoughts through your mind and disappear into the crowd. Attack direction! The world surged with rage and hatred, and the skies were scorched by wicked flames. Jeers and shrieks mixed, but they're muffled by high-pitched sirens. Fierce war has begun due to economic disparity between the East and West, and ideological differences between the North and South. Silver arrows bearing certain deaths are loosed, and sickening flames of crimson burn all. The end of all has arrived, as prophesied by many, and as recorded in the Book of Revelations. Everyone believed that their cause was right, and that only they would be saved. Death's sight, however, is both merciless and impartial. Not the color of one's skin, nor the disparity of their wealth, nor even the differences in their names of their gods ended up having any meaning. Much time passed, and the flames that brought death subsided, but next came the poisonous rains to soak the surface of the earth. Somewhere distant, in another dimension, a sobbing voice could be heard, as could a deep, throaty laugh. But there was none to hear them on this planet. There was no life remaining that could comprehend the meaning behind the laughter or the sobbing. At the very end of this planet's 4.6 billion years was complete annihilation. Final Fantasy XIV Online Endwalker. Alright, we hear your game, Okay. Attacking, vitality, it's not the right way. Endurance, that's what matters, right? The civilization of mankind had grown and overcome many hardships. Political confrontations, food shortage crisis, and man-made explosions, air pollution, nuclear waste. Homo sapiens have brought all these to heel throughout their powerful technologies, and they've spared their reach to the stars. They've established colonies on the inner planets and managed to avoid exhausting their resources. The surface of the Earth regained a stillness for the first time in eons, with the environment under perfect control. And yet, was this really the right path they've chosen? You sigh a small sigh at the now overly matured civilization of mankind. At the very least, you were spared being caught in the massive jaws that lead to ruin on the path of destruction. Mankind has evolved well beyond the many other species that were destroyed at their apex, and yet, was this path we'd chosen truly following the main flow of perfect evolution? While watching the ever-darkening sky on the horizon, you find you can't escape from your own thoughts. Alright, let's get the real ending then.